All right. So I was trying to record my camera, but it won't work. So I have to screen record on my phone. So I wanted to say, I love sports. And I'm sure, a lot of people do as well. But to be honest, I think that one of the most annoying things are just people who are biased. And again, there's nothing wrong with being biased, having an opinion, saying, hey, this is my favorite player. This is my favorite team, and I want to root for them, and I think that they are an amazing player, and I think they don't get the credit they deserve, and so I'm going to go on the internet and keep defending them every chance that I get. There's nothing wrong with that, but some people, I don't want to say it's biased, but it's like it's I see somebody attack my favorite player, and I'm going to basically bring up another player to prove that my player is better. Like, I will say Patrick Mahomes, for example. Patrick Mahomes sucks because, or if I was rooting for Lamar, I would say Patrick Mahomes sucks because, Lamar has such a better season than him. You know, Lamar has played amazing this season, and Patrick Mahomes had, where, which, you know, first of all, people be using arguments and people be saying stuff with little to no context. You just, you look at numbers and you may not look at the game. And I understand, people have jobs and people, so you may not be able to. But at the same time, when you go into, it's like, you know, get into a fight. You feel me? Why get into a fight if you don't have no information on what your opponent can do? You feel me? You're at a disadvantage. So when you get into an argument, why get into an argument when you don't have facts or you don't know the whole context of everything? You could say, yeah, Patrick Mahomes threw a lot of picks earlier on the season, but you gotta use the context of, yes, those picks are on him, but also, you know, Hollywood Brown, who was supposed to be a big key role, got hurt. Rasheed Rice, I believe he got hurt week 3, week 4. Another big receiver for him, and so and also you have to understand this when it comes to him. Patrick Mahomes is trying to get a rhythm. He's trying to understand. Build chemistry with the players. He probably don't have true chemistry with anybody except Kelsey, because him and Kelsey been playing together. So he's trying to build that chemistry. He's trying to get an understanding. Just like any quarterback. Any quarterback who gets new receivers that you haven't played with, you're trying to build chemistry. And so when they got D Hop, he played much better. He was much better, and stuff like this. Players make mistakes. Players. It's a team sport for a reason. Sometimes you're not in your rhythm. You get in your rhythm a little bit later in the game. It may not be early on, so you kind of need your defense to kind of step up and support you. You can't just be like, this quarterback sucks and they're throwing interceptions and stuff that, unless you understand the whole context of everything. I'm not gonna be the one to say I understand. I never played sports. You know, I should say football at any level. So unless you played it to that high degree, you truly understand what's going on or whatever the case may be. But at the same time, you know, that still doesn't mean a fan or anybody can't have a opinion and stuff like that. Everybody has the right to their opinion. But the thing is, this is not even to get into a whole Mahomes debate. It's really, in general, it's really how biased some people can be, like, and it's mainly being used for the Josh Allen versus Lamar MVP debate. You know, it's like people gotta always every time Lamar is brought up in the conversation, and people they would dislike sports analysts, which is nothing wrong with that, but or they will complain about them and stuff like that. Dude, you gotta understand, like, they're paid to debate. They're paid to argue. If there is no arguing, if there is no debate, if they're not going at each other, if they're agreeing with one another, then guess what? They're not getting paid. You don't get paid to agree with one another, even if you believe that, hey, this person, this person is correct. No, I have to find some type of argument against why I believe you're wrong, even if it's the most stupidest argument in the world. I have to find something because that's how we both. So you can't get in your feelings watching sports people and sports journalists or whatever. You gotta understand, some of them are also going to be biased because they play for a certain team or whatever the case may be. So they're not going to be able to, just like anybody else, just like a fan will be biased for the team they root for. Yeah, you can bring up arguments about why this team could be better than your team, but are you? No. That's why the fans that I truly like, not judging any fan, everybody has the right to do what they want to do. But the fans I truly like are the people who are just honestly a fan of the game. Because then it's like, you understand the game, you understand why this team can win, you understand why this team can win. It's just as simple as that. You understand this team has probably a better chance of winning, but it's just not to discredit the players, the people, because it's like Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, both incredible players, two incredible players. And so when you have to discredit, like, now every time somebody says Josh Allen the MVP, you gotta be like, oh no, he lost to the Ravens earlier this season, or this happened, you know, or he doesn't have a ring, so he has no point, no debate, no nothing. He doesn't have an MVP, he has nothing. And the same thing goes, for Lamar on the other side of the coin. You know, like Lamar lost last year against Pat to try to make the Super Bowl. Like, it's just, you gotta understand, they're both phenomenal players. To discredit one of them is just, I never. It's just one of the most stupidest things. You can make a debate for dumb. You can make it. You can make a debate for even other guys. Golf had an amazing season, and you can talk about the weapons, and you can say this person has more weapons, so they're disqualified because they have a lot of weapons. Well, guess what? You gotta understand, the team is trying to build the best team to win a Super Bowl. So the best team is gonna be more weapons. If we can get more weapons, we're gonna get more weapons. Because that's how you can just make it easier. Is That's how you make it easier for yourself. Like, if you're the coach, you're gonna build more, around the team. Now, yes, we understand that there are QBs who can go do amazing stuff with less talent, and that's amazing. Lamar can do stuff with less talent. Allen can do stuff with less talent. Mahomes can do stuff with less talent. Like, there's QBs who could do stuff with less talent. But to just blatantly just say this QB sucks because he has more talent, or because honestly, I just gotta root for my team and I gotta do whatever. It just makes the most pointless debates or the most pointless arguments over, and then people get in their feelings because it's not even to say somebody is right, but look, nobody has the right to agree with you. Like, it's not like somebody you have to be agreed with because you're right or wrong. Nobody's right or wrong. That's why everything's opinion based. Everybody has an opinion. You know, but you just have to understand that. Okay, I understand your how you feel, and I understand that you root for this player or you root for this team, and it's cool, and we can agree respectfully to disagree and stuff like that. But the people be going so deep and then start arguing and be like, this is why. And I know it probably be a bunch of little kids and stuff like that, and obviously, but sometimes it do be grown people because they get in their feelings. And it's okay to get in your feelings, but at the same time, it's like, dude, first of all, it's just sports. Second of all, it's like you're arguing for two great players. If you root for Josh Allen, you root for Josh Allen. If you root for Lamar Jackson, you root for Lamar Jackson. If you root for Patrick Mahomes, you root for Patrick Mahomes. You're arguing for great players. Any one of them can have an argument. Anyone. And the thing is, history, like when people say Josh doesn't have a ring, Lamar doesn't have a ring. It's the playoffs right now, so any one of them could get a ring. That's the thing. All it takes is one moment, one run, one season for a person's opinion to completely change because, well, they got what you said they didn't have, and now they have proven that they can win. You know, and so it's just people just gotta be. It's just a thing. And it's called respect. It's a, it feels like a lost trait at times. Where people just love just being disrespectful and saying whatever. And sometimes when it comes to certain people, you just have to not pay attention to what they say or not give. You don't have to give in. Sometimes you have to be the tougher or the smarter person and just don't give in to what this person say because it may totally make no sense. But that's why I don't really, because Sam Darnold, for instance, he has had an amazing season this season. Like he has had an amazing season, has been given a great opportunity. Unfortunately, when the playoffs came, you know, he didn't play too well. And you got two different sides. You got people who say, well, he still had an amazing regular season, it's which is true, and then you got people who say, well, Sam Donald just proved what he always is. Just look, at the end of the day, Sam Donald knows who he is. We don't know who Sam Donald is. We just see him play and stuff like that. And he didn't play well. It happens. That's what makes the great QBs the great QBs. That's what makes Tom Tom. That's what makes, Joe Montana Joe Montana. You know, but it also what makes great teams the way they are. Because sometimes your QB doesn't show up. Sometimes your QB is not there, or your receivers are dropping passes, or whatever the case may be. But the defenses sometimes carry or do their part. It's a team effort. It's a team game. That's what football is about. It's a team game, and so you just have to keep that in mind. And unfortunately, the Rams just sometimes it's about matchups. It's about who is there. Sometimes it's also about the day. Some teams you just catch them at a bad time. The Rams, they play better, and it's not to say that the Vikings are, or the Rams are, or the Vikings are supposed to be better than the Rams because of their record. I mean, there's a lot of things that go in. That's why if you don't, you gotta study everything. Look at the entire picture. Understand that people was hurt for the team. Just like every team. Some teams, obviously Detroit is the best right now at dealing with all those injuries that they got going on the defensive end. Some teams manage injuries better than others. I mean, that's why the coaches, why the elite coaches, they get paid. Andy Reid, he knows how to deal with all these injuries and stuff like that. But it's just simple. You gotta understand that you're not babies. We're not babies. People act like babies and stuff and cry on social media and be like, well, my quarterback is better, and it's okay. It's okay. Your quarterback can be better, but if somebody doesn't agree with you, don't go attack their family, or don't go. You can list off reasons why a quarterback is not good, or this quarterback is not. But at the same time, you gotta understand you're debating against yourself, because for the most part, no matter what that person, no matter what you say, that person will strongly defend their quarterback, or they're going to strongly defend whatever player they're defending against. And so it's like, I guess, unstoppable force meets an immovable object. Nothing's going to happen. You feel me? It's just going to be a constant debate about, I'm right, I'm right, I'm right, I'm right. You're both right, because you both have a right to your opinion. And even if the third man came involved, like two people arguing, and then the third person, then you'd be like, who you think is right? They're gonna have their opinion, and that's why you just gotta, okay, if you believe Lamar Jackson is the MVP, Lamar Jackson's the MVP. I believe Jackson's the MVP. If you believe Josh Allen's the MVP, I believe Josh Allen's the MVP. There's people who believe Burrow should win the MVP because he has, done so much for his team despite the fact they haven't made the playoffs, but that defense, obviously. So, everybody's right to their opinion. I think in terms of, you know, just looking at life, you just, and I guess I'm going to go deep for a second, because just the kind of guy I am. I like, I love sports. I love playing, watching sports, but I am, I get to a very deep place emotion, because emotions, man, they could be one hell of a drug, or whatever you want to say, because some people just wild out because they get mad, or just do reckless stuff because of whatever reason, because they just allow your emotions. You gotta look. I know people, you live your everyday life, you do what you do, whatever you do, and it's tough to keep in mind or keep your emotions in check because it always feels like you're moving. Then, slow down. Find an activity like if you enjoy tea, just have a moment where you're not on your phone, or you're not doing anything at all, or you're doing what you love or whatever, whether it's going for a walk. It's those small things that just, keep you at peace or keep you in a mindset where it's like you're not moving. You feel like you're in a meditated, like you're meditating basically, even though you're doing something. You may be walking, you may be um whatever you may be doing, but it's about coming and finding yourself. I think that's the most important thing, because I think that's the thing that leads to a lot of arguments, a lot of debates, a lot of just is that people are not together. People, and it's cool to, again, it's cool to be different. It's cool to have different opinions. It's cool to have different beliefs and all of that. But what is not cool is to be harsh on somebody just because they have this belief, or be harsh on somebody just because they do things differently than what you may. That's something I don't mess with. Now, obviously, I don't mess with it, but you can only do so much. You just have to not be phased with things at times, because some people are naive. Some people are deliberately trying to piss you off, or some people are, that's just how they are, and you have to. It's on you to take care of yourself and do what's best for yourself, and not give in. Not give in, because unfortunately, if you were to be the one that reacts, you will be the one that gets in trouble, because some people got it like that. I don't know. Some people have the fortune of, they got their name, and they got a big name or whatever, and so sometimes it may look like you're a nobody, which, look, nobody, and I don't care who you are, you can be the smallest ant. You're never a nobody. But that's just how the way the world, or some people view people, because you may worship, not to say worship, but you just may love celebrities or love people who, there's nothing wrong with that, but you gotta always remember, we're humans, man, or we're people, or we're whatever you believe in, but we're here together. Even if we may not be together, we're here together, and we're all on the same planet. So you just have to learn how to just connect. I think we're all trying to find our own ways of just connecting and building a better future for individually, for all of ourselves. I would say all the time, remember to love yourself, you know love another, love somebody else. And look, it's like a journey. It's very tough. I always like thinking about a monk. Like it's probably tough to do what a monk can do. It's probably tough, and it becomes easier probably if you're in a field where it's silent and there's no distractions and there's nobody who's really, all these energies are not coming at you, and you just by yourself. You're not influenced by anything or a lot of things. Yeah, it's easier. And it's always tough when you got a lot of people or a lot of things coming at you, and it's how do I do this, how do I dodge, what do I do, and sometimes the best thing to honestly do is do nothing, because whatever is going to happen is going to happen. Sometimes you gotta let whatever happens happen, so you can eventually understand, you know the whole situation, understand the whole picture. It's like I know this. Honestly, this is just something for me to talk because I wanted to record a YouTube video for a minute now, and I've been wanting to show my face, but my freaking camera doesn't work, so I have to screen record because I have been wanting to talk because my true premises of what I'm trying to say is this that I want everybody to love themselves. I love sports, but um, I think everything's deeper, or it can be deeper than what meets the eye. And I think in terms of the world, I wish the best for all the places, all the things, the fires that happen in LA or all those things that may happen. But I also think that in order for everybody to come together, you have to individually, you have to look at yourself and you have to love yourself, because when you love yourself, you can love everybody else because these emotions are not what defines you. These emotions are not what you are. You can be above any one of these emotions, and trust me, I understand. It's not to say that I got these emotions or I got any of this stuff figured out. I don't, trust me. I try my best every day. I try to be my best self every day, just like any other person. But one thing I can say I do is I try. And I will always say this, E for effort. Whether you fail, whether you succeed. And when it comes to failing or succeeding, it's whatever you think failure and succeeding is, because, everybody has different versions or has a different what they think success is differently. Everybody thinks differently about that. And failing, everybody thinks differently about that. So you have to find out what makes you, what your version is, or what your version of anything is. What your version of happiness, what makes you happy. Is it being outside, being in the sun, seeing animals, playing video games, working at your job, making money, whatever it is, it could be anything, and just, try to always, make sure that, okay, I'm doing this activity, I'm doing whatever I'm doing, but let me always make sure to incorporate the love for myself and understand that I'm here in the moment. You don't want to ever allow yourself to just forget, because I think not that there's anything wrong with forgetting, but to just allow yourself to just fully be in that emotion, or be in that I'm not gonna have control over myself. I don't care about having control over myself. That's why a lot of people just do very, unfortunately, a lot of people do bad things, that, they look back at, and it's hard. They can't believe they did it. That's because in the moment, you just allow yourself to react, and you don't give yourself control. And trust me, I understand it's tough to control. And, every situation is differently. People can say, hey, if a person were to do an unforgivable sin or were to harm somebody, you know, you know, then that person's a bad person. I don't like thinking that way, because certain situations imply certain different things. Sometimes self-defense and stuff like that. Which I ain't promoting doing any of that stuff, but I'm saying I understand that some things are necessary, or because it's basically like making a choice. If is your life worth more than my life, or is my life worth more than your life, or depending on the situation. If you got your loved ones involved or whatever, that puts a certain toll. It's a choice that I don't think anybody wants to make, and you know I hope no one ever has to make any of those choices. Unfortunately, yes, people do. But honestly, if you ask me, I do think the world is going to a better place. Honestly, even though it could be tough to believe and look at everything, but you have to understand that you know whether you know it or not. You'll know. You know, sometimes it's not. You shouldn't pay attention to everything that's happening, because sometimes the most important thing that is happening is just inside of you. The most important thing that's happening, you already know. You know, you just have to get to that understanding. You know, I think that's what life is. Trying to get to a certain level of understanding of everything that's happening. You know, there's a reason why some people are not phased by this materialistic stuff and some things. Some people are taking the more spiritual path. Some people are, they love materialistic stuff and stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with that either. To me, I've always been neutral about my beliefs. I just believe whatever I believe. I'm not gonna act like I've always been neutral. Because, yeah, in the past, yeah, I did have my certain beliefs about certain things, but now I have gotten a better understand people are doing, you know, what they have to do. And everybody, um, okay, this was a sports debate. I'm gonna end this soon, and then I'm gonna actually do a redo. Basically, long story short, when it comes, I just think people should have more respect for other people's opinions when it comes to sports and anything really. But you know, I watch sports, and so that's like the thing that I look at a lot, and so I just think people shouldn't just come to the comments and just be like, even though yes, for me, I don't have to observe that, and I look, because sometimes you curious or you're bored or whatever, and I may look and for the most part I don't reply, or I I don't care. I understand why certain people do what they do, but at the same time, I believe you got a voice. You sometimes gotta use it, and so here's me using my voice and just saying, just have respect for other people, and stuff like that.